Yeah, we on that time. 60 on the board, now we start that climb. Get ready, get set, yeah, the moment's now. When it hits zero, we gon' show you how. Run! Yeah. 50 seconds, feel the energy rise. Heartbeat fast, yeah, you feel that vibe. Lights get bright, yeah, the stage gets set. We ain't even started, but you ain't ready yet. 40 on the clock, now we pick up pace. Every second count, yeah, we in that race. Crowd tuned in, yeah, they locked in tight. Whole room buzzing, yeah, we taking flight. Yeah, 30 seconds left, now we turn it up. No slowing down, gotta fill that cup. Energy peaking, yeah, it's building fast. Blink one time, might miss that blast. 40 on the clock, yeah, we feel to the heat. Baseline knocking, got you out your seat. Hands go up, yeah, we ready to go. Whole vibe shift when we hit that flow. 10, 9, feel that energy climb. 8, 7, yeah, it's almost time. 6, 5, yeah, we live right now. 4, 3, let me hear that crowd. Steve on the mic, yeah, the nurse got skill. Break it down smooth, keep the whole squad chill. Talking about kidneys, yeah, we keep them on track. If your numbers off balance, he gon' bring them right back. Got the wisdom on deck, no stress, just facts. Hydration, motivation, every time he reacts. From the clinic hallway to your podcast feed, dropping gems so fresh, yeah, that's all you need. Stevethedneynurse, yeah, you know the name. Keep your body in check, yeah, we play no games. Real talk, real health, yeah, we keep it pure. Tap in right now, Stevethedneynurse, yeah. Stevethedneynurse, yeah. Stevethedneynurse.
Welcome to Dialysis Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse. Welcome. This is a space where we talk honestly about kidney health, dialysis, and the real life experiences that come with both. Now, tonight, this show is about more than information. It's about compassion, understanding, and reminding every patient and caregiver they are not alone. Today, we are honored, and it's been a minute. I've been trying to get this young lady on here. We are honored to be joined by Joni, a family nurse practitioner and dialysis specialist who has spent nearly 10 years walking alongside patients through some of the hardest part of their kidney journey. Now, a lot of you may be watching, be like, my nurse practitioner don't be there for me. She come, write the prescription, and she gone. My guest, I lost her, but we're gonna keep going until she come back. And she's back. But from her years as a dialysis nurse to her work now as a dialysis nurse practitioner, Joni has dedicated her career to helping people better understand kidney disease, dialysis, transplant options, and what it means to live well. Now, through NephroReach and the Dialysis MP, her mission is to educate, empower, and support patients and caregivers every step of the way. But before we bring Joni on, let me thank our sponsor for tonight's broadcast and acknowledge our medical disclaimer. I want to thank Kibo Life because today's episode of Dialysis in Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse is sponsored by Kibo Biotech, makers of Renadel. And let me tell you this, followers of Steve the Kidney Nurse can get a $10 off any product by using code STKN at checkout. Now, let me show you that right quick. Here we go. Followers of Steve the Kidney Nurse will get a $10 off any product at www.renadale.com by entering STKN at checkout. So with that being said, let me also say this. The information broadcast on Dialysis and Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse is for informational and educational purposes only, okay? And is not implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, and treatment. And with that being said, I do want to thank our sponsor for supporting our show and the kidney community. Now, with that being said, we're going to bring on the lady of the hour. Let's welcome Joni to the show. Let me give her the VIP welcome.
Yo, it's Steve the Kidney Nurse. Let's welcome our VIP guest. Let's get into today's show.
Hey, Joni, welcome to the show. We're so glad that you're here.
What's up, Steve?
How you doing?
Everything's good. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I finally got you here. I mean, I know you've been making the rounds.
Well, you know.
Rounds.
How's everything going?
Huh?
I said, how's everything going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just taking it one day at a time.
Yep.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Everything good. Same thing. One day at a time.
Good. Let me say hello to Peach Teach. Pete Teach, what's going on? Welcome. And then there's Raymond Gathers. Welcome to the show. And anybody else who comes on board, please acknowledge yourself in the comment section. So, Joni, I seen you on Facebook. I remember first seeing your post on Facebook. It was your ad. Well, it wasn't an ad. It was for NephroReach, and you were talking about education pertaining to kidney disease. And I was like, who is this? And then I finally seen your picture, and I started like, oh, okay. Let me ask you this. And I was just kind of wondering, what first drew you into the healthcare field?
Well, since I was a little girl, I always figured that I wanted to be a nurse, you know. Being around my grandmom and my great aunt, so my dad's side, just being around older people at church, always being so helpful. And then, you know, the other thing is when you're growing up, it's not many things. Hey, Uncle Ron. There's not many things that you know, especially like a small country girl. Most of the time we think you want to be a nurse or a teacher. Some people say they want to be a cop. I never even knew what nursing was because honestly, I don't even think that I knew any nurses when I was a little girl. But it was just something that came up and, you know, I stuck with it. They say you're kind, you're compassionate, you care. That's what nurses do. So here I am.
So was there a moment that sparked your interest?
For nursing?
I mean, for getting in the healthcare field.
I mean, honestly, just my upbringing, Steve, just being around older people, like I said, just being nurturing, compassionate, always willing, you know, to lend a helping hand. The other thing is my dad and my mom, but my dad is he's a pastor. And so every weekend, basically, we did nursing home ministry, hospital ministry, street revival, but sticking with the healthcare, you know, we went to the nursing home on weekends. Like before we had service, my dad and his friend from church, they would go to the nursing home and they would get the people, help get the bigger people, men washed up to help the, the AIDS out. And then they would come back, get us, and then we go with the keyboard, with the musician, and we go and we bring the people to the hall and we sing and do scriptures and visit them in their room. And my dad would preach and we would take them Christmas gifts, things of that nature. If he was going to the hospital, I would, most of the time I'm in the car with him. I don't miss. That's my ace. So I don't miss. And we go to the hospital and we visit everybody. Okay. And we riding down the road. He said, I'm gonna stop in this one yard, blow the horn. We get out and visit. See how you doing? Say a prayer with them, and just always encouraging. So that's really just in my heart, to be there for people.
So you always knew you wanted to help people.
For sure.
Wow. So what led you to specialize in kidney care and dialysis?
Oh, Steve. Listen, when you go through nursing school, right? Absolutely nobody, they don't talk about dialysis. And the funny thing is, I was just talking about this today with one of my brothers. I was like, I remember being a kid and we went to my cousin's grandma's house one time. It's like, oh, where your grandma? And they said, well, she had dialysis. As a kid, you don't know. So that just kind of fly over your head. And when I got older, and honestly, I'm in my clinicals, right? And I'm at Richland Memorial Hospital and we're doing our clinicals. And this guy named Otis comes out of these double doors, right? And he has this business card and it says Fresenius Kidney Care at the time. And so he said, yeah, when y'all done with school, you need a job, come over here. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is, So I continue because initially when I thought of nursing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do like pediatric nursing, and then I'm gonna go be like a CRNA, right? So I go in, I shadow the CRNA and everything. And then Steve, when I graduated, I was like 5 days away from delivery with our son. That's Raymond, my husband's on here. So I was like, dang, this man did give us a card, Otis. So I was in the salon one day and this girl, she's like talking, she was a nurse, and she said, I work for Fresenius. And I was like, really? I said, this guy told me about it. She said, you should apply. And I was like, really? And so she was like, yeah, just apply. So before I could even take my NCLEX, Fresenius had already reached back out. You're a new nurse, it's like first job, first offer. It was a great offer. And I'm like, okay. So they said, well, you passed the NCLEX, the job is yours, basically. So I passed the NCLEX like September, middle of September, 4 weeks after I had my son. And then when I passed the NCLEX, they was like, oh, we're going to send you go and get your urine test done. So when they got that done, and when he was 6 weeks old, I was in the building in Fresenius.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When you started, because like you said, you didn't know nothing about it, was there something about this specialty that felt like the right fit for you?
So Steve, me and you've been chopping it up a lot. So you could tell that I like to talk. I'm very sociable. And going in and out of the clinics, you get to see the same people all the time. You get to build a rapport with them. And what brings me gratification is seeing progress, seeing people happy, seeing their lives turned around, seeing people get kidney transplants. If I say I'm gonna do something, I put my mind to it and I just do it. And so once I got in there, honestly, I came in when we didn't have schedule-wise, we didn't have any schedules. Well, I came in where patient didn't show up, the tech went to the patient house to see where they were at. I came in where the tech was like, swim or drown, like it's one or the other. She would have her back turned and she'd be like, Joni, you ain't clamped that line. This when I was training as a tech, because you got to train as a tech before the nurse. And I'm like, dang, how'd she know that? I always strive for perfection. So I couldn't be defeated. I was going to learn it. It didn't matter. And honestly, I was probably in the field for about 2 or 3 weeks. And I remember I transitioned over to the nursing side. And the girl that was precepting me, we were in our first week. And the only thing she showed me was charting, how to build your chart and how to pass meds. And Steve, her sister died. And then a week or two later, her mom died. So I didn't have a preceptor anymore.
Wow.
I was on my own. And because I was so quick, the techs were very demanding. So it was a real different kind of place to work. You understand? I was in one of the roughest clinics, that you could think of. And once I got it, it was like my second language.
Right.
And I always come back.
So let me ask you, share some more of what that early experience was like, first starting out.
Well, first of all, when you got to be at the clinic at 3:45 in the morning, that's what it started out for me. I would say that was the thing that I had to get acclimated to, getting up that time of morning and getting there. But I'm a morning and a night person. I can be bubbly, sociable, whenever. If I get tired, now I'm tired. But when I wake up in the morning, there's no such thing as I'm not a morning person. I walk in the building and I just want it to be right. So starting off, of course, clamping your lines, learning how to string the machine, it was no problem. When I realized that after like 2 or 3 weeks, like I'm doing this like I've been doing this, I'm like, I never even heard of this. And it's just, I don't know. I was just reflecting today, like, God, did you just give this to me? Because everybody's like, how do you go in there? How do you deal with the smell? And I'm like, I don't smell anything, But just going in there, one of the toughest things was probably getting the patients to trust you. Because you can imagine you're a dialysis nurse yourself. It's a high turnover rate. The patients want to protect their access, their fluid management, their diet. They don't want to cramp. When they come into treatment, they want somebody that knows them. So I just took my time and I got to know everybody. I think another of the challenging parts was just maybe getting the staff to understand, like, I know what I'm doing. Hey, Felicia. It's one of my nurses.
Hey, Felicia. I'm a colleague too.
Yeah, just getting the staff they couldn't believe like she's moving this fast already with like little to no training, and I just hands on, it was done. And I was determined, like you get in there, how you could go from a registered nurse to the cap 1 nurse, cap 2. I was like, what do I have to do? So what I did was I became like the fluid manager for the clinic. And that's what I did my cap on. And just like that, cap 3, same thing. And it's like, I just wanted patients to come in to be happy. This was their second home. I wanted them to feel comfortable. When they walked in, I wanted them to feel welcome. I wanted them to know that whatever it took within reason, that I would do it to make sure that their treatment was the best treatment of their life every time they came in.
Awesome. So before I ask you a follow question, y'all make sure y'all follow Steve the Kidney Nurse YouTube channel, Felicia and everyone else, Mr. Raymond Gathers.
That's my husband.
Yeah. Husband. Hey, make sure y'all follow the channel. I would appreciate that. Absolutely. And I thank everyone that came out to support Joni. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. So Joni, what did you learn most in those first years of learning dialysis?
I think what I learned most is trust yourself, trust your instinct, trust your gut, do what you know to do. Don't let people discourage you, because it became hard after a while dealing with staff, because I don't like to say that people are jealous or have a problem with me. I never like that. I like to satisfy everybody. I like to be friendly with everybody. But it becomes a challenge when people are challenging you in areas where it's not necessary. It makes the job hard. When you're doing the right thing, you're following orders, you're doing proper assessments, you're learning what you're doing. You understand, like you're learning that the patient is not just specific to the machine. Dialysis is very patient specific. So it's different for every patient. When I started to go off course, like out of the book, because I felt like I learned enough from the book, and I started to understand each patient on their machine, how their treatment was going, how things needed to be adjusted, the things that I should be asking the doctor, the way that I should step in as the nurse before going to the doctor. I think that that made some people just a little bit intimidated as a colleague, because it's like, well, I'm not doing that. Why is she doing that? Like, she thinks she know everything. No, like I know what I'm doing, you know? And so sometimes I will pull back off of it because I didn't want people to see me that way. But then the other breath is I would try to help them the same way I was working myself, so we can have continuity of care in the clinic. And instead of them gravitating to the knowledge or the, I would say, expertise, you know, that one has already had, because it's people before me with that are expertise. So I listen to them. We all can learn from each other. They started treating me like I didn't fit in. And that made my day hard sometimes. Like hard, like I would leave off the floor and just like go cry for a minute and then come back in, because I couldn't let my patients see that. But I had to be a stand-up person for my patients, even though the odds were against me, even though I was doing the right thing.
Wow. Wow. Let me ask you this. How did working directly with dialysis patients shape your perspective on care?
Man, listen, they became family. You know, like even still, sometimes I'll pull up a chair to the patient if there's something that's going on and I want to have like a one-on-one. Um, I just don't want anybody to leave and say I didn't do my job. You know, I don't want people to go home and feel bad. You know, I want to make sure that when you left, you were taken care of, and when you came back, you had a good report. You know, each time I look forward to my patient come back saying, man, when I went home, I felt good. You know, when I went home, I didn't have any cramping this time. You know, when I went home, I wasn't as thirsty this time. You know, when I went home, I was able to better manage my fluids. I wanted to include them in their care. You know, patients that had issues where every time I come in here, the scale is off, the scale is broke. I said, well, you know what? Let me do you a solid. You got a scale at home? I do. When you get up, I want you to take all your clothes off, use the bathroom if you can, and get on the scale. And whatever that weight is, you write it down and you bring that in when you come in. But be mindful now, if you eat or drink anything before you come in, I want you to write that down too. I'm trying to make them feel like they were a part of their planning, a part of their hey, that's my mom and dad. I
Oh,
wanted
hey,
them to
mom and dad.
I wanted them to feel like they were a part of the decision making, because when they are, it makes them look forward to the next time. You know what I'm saying? It makes them feel valued and appreciated. And we just got a closeness like that. I got to know them like they have children or, you know, spouses or any family, you know. Even one of my patients helped name our baby girl. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's just I like to include them in things. If they were in the hospital, I go to a hospital and visit them. I
Yeah.
get their number, call their family members. You know, I just, my foundation is what keeps me solid as a nurse in the field that I'm in.
Right. We can tell you have some great parents. Let me ask, do your parents have a garden?
No, but my uncle does, and he
Yeah,
got good collard greens
I
too.
want some vegetables. I just, you know, let me tell you something. I'm in the city, and I know we can grow vegetables, but it's nothing like getting fresh vegetables and fruits from someone living down in the South, like Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. So
Yeah,
I gotta need a spare. Send some up to DC. Yeah,
send them to DC.
but no, thank you know for your parents to come in and join the show. I appreciate that. That it shows that you have a lot of support. You have a lot of support, and that you make a difference in your community. Joni, let me ask you this:
Yeah.
what lessons from bedside nursing still stay with you today?
Bedside nurses still stay with me today. Just being a person, being able to get on their level. Honestly, Steve, like sometimes when I walk in the clinic, I don't even wear my white coat. This one stays at home. It was a gift from one of my colleagues, one of my student friends. I go in the clinic, I'm real regular. You know, I walk in, I'm like, hey guys, you know, just to the nurses, to the techs, to the patients. I just want I just wanted to be like family, just feel good. Hey Tay, just feel good. Like just I want them to know that I understand. The listening ear. If they ask me to do something, I don't wait for days to do it. I try to get it done in that moment. If I can't do it, I'll ask one of the nurses there. I'm like, hey, and they don't mind because they know they can call me anytime. So I take that listening ear, the compassion. Hey, Antoinette. That's one of our church members.
Follow the page, Stevethedneynurse. Subscribe.
And find me on TikTok, the Dialysis NP, or Facebook. But Steve, just letting them know, like, all of us, we're here. We're all the same. We hold different titles, so there's a level of respect to title and position that you have. But you're still a person.
Absolutely.
On the other side of all of this, one wrong decision for me, and I can be in their chair. If I don't do what I teach them, if I'm not mindful of what I teach my patients, what?
Let me ask you this, because we're coming close to midway. How did those experiences before you became a nurse practitioner, those bedside manners and what you learned as a dialysis nurse, how did those experiences influence your approach as a nurse practitioner?
Well, I'll tell you like this. It's hard for me not to stand up at the chair like this or like this because I'm just real chill. So my brain has to say, don't do that. But I have some patients that I can get kind of just chill with, right? Because they like that. They have better blood pressures when I'm chill with them like that. They're more relaxed. They're more open. And then there's some patients I can't walk up to and say, hey, what's up? And because they're like, that's not very professional. And I'm like, well, the other day you said what's up. So which way you want me to greet you? And then they'll laugh it off, whatever. But from the chair side, what I learned is, even though you want to be seen as the same person straight across, there are days where patients come in and they don't feel like the smiles or the laughs or all the questions that you're asking. They want to just see you as a nurse, come on, do your job and keep going. So I learned to have an approach where I'm still myself, but they can feel that I truly care and I really want to hear. Not just I walk up to you and say, hey, how you doing? How's your treatment? And then they be like, oh, well, everybody asks me that. No, when I come up to you, I want you to, hey, Mama Ella. When I walk up to you, I want you to know that I really am listening. And so just taking it over to the provider side, what helped me is, how can I be a dialysis provider if I don't understand dialysis? If I've never put my hand on it, that kind of gives me like a one up. You know what I mean? I could go in and straighten the machine. I can stick the patients. I can do their catheters. I can run a code. I can reset the machine. I can calibrate some things, give them anything. Like I can do everything that needs to be done when it comes to the total care in dialysis. So I took that from the nursing side to the provider side. You get what I mean? And that's what helps me to continue to be a good provider because I understand both sides of it. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, Mama Ellen.
okay.
Don't forget to subscribe to Stevethekidneynurse YouTube channel. But no, I get exactly what you're saying, because I would probably be the same way if I was an MP, carry what I know from, the clinic into the profession of what I do. So at this point, let me just take a pause for the cause and do a PSA, then come back and do our dialysis myths versus facts segment, and then get back into the interview. So we'll be right back with Joni, the MP, and we'll see you in a minute.
Hello, I'm Darren. We have breaking news. More than 600,000 Americans have kidney failure. While the number of people with kidney failure is enormous, the number of people with its precursor, chronic kidney disease, is staggering. An estimated 31 million Americans, or about 10% of the US population. Diabetes and hypertension cause 2/3 of all cases of kidney disease. 1 out of every 3 Americans is at risk for kidney disease, and kidney disease is now among the top 10 causes of death in the United States. In addition, 9 out of 10 people with early to moderate kidney disease don't know they have it, putting their health in jeopardy. Are you at risk? For more information, contact urbankidneyalliance.org. The life you save may be yours.
So, welcome back to Dialysis Life with Steve, the kidney nurse. So, this is our Myths vs. Facts segment where we had 3 myths versus facts, and we ask our guests to expand on it. And so, again, this is our Dialysis in Life with Steve, the kidney nurse, Myth vs. Facts segment. And our first one is this myth: dialysis is a death sentence. Myth versus the fact: dialysis saves lives. Joni, please expand on that, where a lot of people get diagnosed and say, oh my God, I got a death sentence. But in fact, it's the opposite. Can you expand on that as a nurse practitioner?
Yeah, the only way that the myth becomes a fact is that you don't do what you need to do to live. Some people get diagnosed with chronic kidney disease and stage renal disease. Then you have to go on dialysis and, oh, I'm not going to do that. They just want to put me on a machine. They just want my money. I'm still urinating or I'm still peeing and I know my kidneys are working, and they don't understand, the labs. They don't know what to look for. They don't even realize that they've been like foggy feeling and tired, got a low appetite, that everything tastes different, probably been having some diarrhea, maybe even some constipation. They don't understand like that those are the things that your kidneys are trying to tell you, that I'm not working as great as I was, those toxins are building up. But when your kidneys fail, I always use that model of the old filter from the coffee pot, the old white one from back in the days. When you put those coffee greens in there, you want coffee in your cup, but you say, oh man, I'm gonna reuse this filter. Okay, so then you dump it out and you put more coffee, and then you notice in your cup you got 1 green. Now those filters are getting a little loose, right? And you like, oh man, it's getting kind of weak. It's the same thing with the kidneys. The protein, the sugars, the salt, they are weighing heavy on your kidneys, and your glomeruli, which are the filters, they're starting to break apart just a little, and those toxins are leaking into the bloodstream. So when you look at your labs, your BUN, which is your blood urea nitrogen, that's how much toxins you have. Your EGFR, that's the function that, which your kidneys are functioning. And we stage those. Your creatinine, that lets you know about your kidney function as well. And then, this is my Uncle Ron right here. We thank God for him. He got a kidney transplant in March. He's the guy I was telling you about. You're right, Uncle Ron. It can be mentally challenging. It is hard to accept. But once you hear it, you have to be ready to take the education that comes behind it. Because if you don't, you're going to do more damage than you are good. You know what I mean? Making sure that you do get referred to the nephrologist when you need to. So it's not a death sentence. You can live after it, even if you have to get on the dialysis machine, because the dialyzer is an artificial kidney, and it's going to replace a percentage of that kidney function as long as you're a candidate for a transplant, as long as you continue to eat right, monitor your fluid, manage your medications, come to your treatments. You're going to be a prime candidate. Absolutely right. A good support system, very important. You're going to be a prime candidate for a transplant. But when you get the transplant, it's not over either. You got anti-rejection medications, but this time you might not smoke. You might not drink with this new kidney. You shouldn't anyway. You might monitor your salt intake more, your processed foods, your proteins, and your sugar, because you realize how valuable it is once you have it. Our point is, Steve, we're trying to teach them the value of it before you get there. Unfortunately, some people have comorbidities such as high blood pressure, diabetes, or they're born with polycystic kidney disease, or the the gene that we were talking about. What is it? The
APO,
ALOP,
APOL,
APOL. Yeah, the gene.
L1.
You're born with that gene. Yeah, and you have a hard time with your kidney. So unfortunately, some people are just, they have a predisposition to kidney disease. But then there are some people where you just make it hard on yourself until it's too late. So no, it's not a death sentence. It's just something that you have to manage. If they tell you got cancer, you need chemo or radiation. If they tell you have high blood pressure, you need antihypertensive blood pressure medicine. If they say you have diabetes, you type 1 specifically, you're going to need insulin to live. So this is just something else to help you live. But while you're on it, do what you're told to do. Listen to your body. Talk to your team. Talk to a provider that cares. Talk to a nurse that cares. Somebody that you can share your story with. Because like I said, it's not patient. It is patient specific. It's not everything for one patient. So you can live.
Let me say this before I go on to Myth 2. Uncle Rod and Joni support. Make sure you come back each Sunday, even though she's not on, to support the broadcast. Seriously, everybody who came to support Joni, y'all make sure y'all come back, because this is about education, seriously. And I appreciate you coming here tonight. Absolutely. Let's go on to Myth 2. Myth 2. Myth, you can't live a normal life. Fact, you can thrive with CKD. Joni, talk about that.
Well, you can live a normal life. There will be changes, that you have to do as far as your diet, exercise, medications. And we're just talking about chronic kidney disease right now. That's not end-stage renal. So chronic kidney disease means that you have some sort of decrease in your function. Okay. When you get CKD5, you're close to end-stage renal, then your kidneys are barely functioning at all. That's when you're talking about transplant and dialysis. But with chronic kidney disease, you're just watching like the medications you take. You should not be taking NSAIDs like ibuprofen, meloxicam too much, your Motrin, naproxen. Those medications, they're really hard on your kidneys. They cause like a constriction and you lose perfusion to the kidneys for a while. So it causes damage over time. Let's say like red meats, your organ meats, those are really hard for the kidneys to process. So you want to do like lean meats, like your salmon, fish, turkey. I'm not saying you can't have a little pork and beef here and there, but some of us, including myself, very guilty on steak a lot because I like it. But it's not good when you start, for your kidneys. It's not. A lot of sodium. It's not good. Drinks that have like sodas or juices with dyes in it. Those things are processed and filtered through the kidney. So when you start to learn what's healthy for the kidneys, you'll see like, man, I can do at least 90% of that. And every now and again, I might dabble into the things that I really like that I shouldn't, but I can't make it something that I do ongoing. It's a serious thing. So yes, you can live, you see a nephrologist, hopefully a kidney doctor or a kidney provider such as myself, and we put you on medications that are kidney protective to help prolong the disease from, progressing, because you can.
Right.
You can. The other thing, Steve, chronic kidney disease, you have to be careful when you get those CT scans and they do the contrast dyes. Those things will shock the kidneys. And once you have injury from contrast dye, that's irreversible. Irreversible.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot. Unfortunately, I've seen that a lot. Contrast dyes, and try to educate that as well when I do my education. I mean, you can say get in a car accident, right? Had no issues with no kidney problems, get in a car accident, hurt your back, and they want you to go get a CAT scan or something like that, and you drink that dye or whatever.
They inject it, yep.
Yeah. However they do it. And if you never had that before, that can shut your kidneys down, put you in AKI.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that people don't know, and that's what boggles my mind when it comes to education, why more people are not, especially people that are that are at risk, and they may not know they're at risk unless they get the education. So let's hop into our last myth, first fact. Kidney disease, myth, always painful. Fact, you may have no symptoms. Can you expand on that?
Absolutely, because it's the silent killer, blood pressure. You know, your kidneys help regulate your blood pressure. What's a silent killer? I tell people all the time, I actually do have a patient who runs 200 systolic, 100 diastolic. He's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I say, yeah, I know you're fine, but you're going to kill yourself. You know why? Because you have allowed your body to develop a threshold that you're a high functioning at such a high pressure, and your body is going to give out. Your heart is going to give out. You're going to have a heart attack. You're going to have a stroke. You're going to have an aneurysm. Your kidneys are already done. He's like, oh no, when it comes out, I feel bad. Absolutely, because we're bringing you down to what's normal. So all of those days that you felt kind of a little nauseous, like, oh, that's okay. Or you had a headache or a little dizzy, oh, it's okay. And you never check your pressure. Your body was building a threshold, a threshold, a threshold, a threshold. And when you got to your new normal, these things all beneath started to shut down, started to cause you problems. So now that we try to bring it down and try to regulate it, yes, you're going to feel dizzy. You're going to feel sick. You're going to have nausea. You're going to be a little lightheaded. You're going to feel like my blood pressure is too low. But imagine that pressure on the heart, hard all the time. And then when we start to control it and slow things down, the body has to autocorrect to what's normal again. But it's better for you. It's better for you. It's painful when you don't do the right thing.
I agree. I agree. So, all right, thank you for participating in our myth first fact segment. So let me continue with the interview. What motivated you to become a family nurse practitioner?
You want the truth?
Yeah.
I was sitting in dialysis one day, and I was sitting at the desk. This is a true story. I was sitting at the desk, right? And this little white girl came walking in. She had a coat on. She had a paper in her hand writing. And she came to me, and she was asking me everything about the patients. And I was like, what? She said, oh, I'm the nurse practitioner. I do these visits. I said, I can do that. I'm not joking. I said, I could do that. And so I started thinking, like, every time the doctor come in or the practitioner come in, they come for a report. Whatever I give them and whatever I suggest, that's what we were doing. That was the plan. So I said, well, why do I have to wait on a provider if I could be the provider?
Wow. So what did you hope to do differently in that role?
I hope to manage blood pressures better. I hope to manage people fluids better. I hope to care about them when they cramp better. I hope to be able to get them on the transplant list sooner. I hope to be able to provide the education on the provider side to them without crossing over the scope of practice, in the right role, the right way. I wanted to be able to do it without boundaries because I know what they needed. I watched people come in. Steve, we had a patient one time. This is a true story. He's gone now. He would get so high before he come to treatment because he couldn't stand the doctors. He couldn't stand the practitioners come around because he said, they don't even say nothing to me. So he would get so high, or if they did say something to him, he said it didn't make any sense. So one time he wrote on the paper, he said, I am high, pass by me. Seriously. He said, I'm high, pass by me. In my mind, you got to be able to reach him too. You're just going to pass him by and let him die? Well, sure indeed, he coded in the clinic one day. And, that was that. But those people, they need people that relate to them too. You can't let this make you too mighty. When you come around, you need to be able to relate. You need to be able to relate to the people. Some of the people, thank you, Felicia, and I appreciate all of your support and your help. She's a hard-working nurse in the clinic too. I really appreciate you. You have to be able to
follow the page.
You have to be able to relate to the patients. And it could be a lot, right? So like right now, I have 4 clinics that I manage. That's 204 patients. Okay. I I see them every week. Sometimes I might see 160 a week. I might see 140. I get close to 200. Just depends on where I'm going. Hey, Whitney. When I get home, Steve, I can chart on my patients with no paper because I remember what they told me. That's how important it is to be attentive as a provider. You got to find a work-life balance, but you got to appreciate what you do. You understand what I'm saying? You got to make sure that you value the work that you do and that you value your patients. These are people, family members. Imagine if it was you or your family member, in the chair. Thank you so much. You have to put yourself there.
That's what when I started in 1985 as a tech in Austin, Texas, that's what I did. I mean, I was only 21 years old. I don't know why I was thinking.
I was a newborn.
Yeah, I would put myself in that position at that time. So I definitely understand what you say about that. Let me ask you, how has that transition from nurse to nurse practitioner expanded the way you help patients?
I think it expanded from me knowing the actual technical side of dialysis, being on the hands-on side, and then understanding that in its totality, and then coming to the side where I can actually assess a little bit deeper. I can actually write the orders, be the person that makes sure that the treatment is accurate for the patient. So because I know what's going on the technical side, the provider side is not that hard. You understand what I'm saying? I also can appreciate when I was nursing on the floor, there were times that I did round with the doctor. Oh, thank you so much, Tasha. Thank you so much.
Is
there
this
were times
nephrologist?
No, she's a podiatrist, I think.
Oh, okay.
She's a cousin on my husband's side. But
thank you. Welcome to the show, Doc.
Yeah, they knew me before I was a nurse. But there were times where, I would round with the doctor because we didn't have a charge nurse. So they put me up in the charge nurse position. So I'm listening to what she's saying. And I'm like, I like to study too. I like to read. And I like to listen to other people that are in the profession talk. So it kind of like makes sense. It builds a story. And some of the things I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. Oh, that's why you do that. I started learning way back when. And then there were things that they would do that I was like, if I was a provider, I wouldn't do that, or I might care a little differently, or I don't know. Yeah.
All right, now listen, Doc said this is excellent, and yes, I will follow Steve.
Tasha, find me on TikTok, the Dialysis NP. But yeah.
Let me ask you this. What do you wish more people understood about kidney disease?
I wish they understood that once it's done, it's done. And that once it's done and you have to come on dialysis, it takes 3 days of your week, unless you're doing it at home, because you can still have independence at home. You can do your 5 days, hemodialysis. Some people do 6. Or you can do your peritoneal, where in your stomach, where you just exchange fluids. Thank you, P Teach. Find me on TikTok. If you have any questions, you can send me a direct message. I'm always available. You still can travel with your machines, just like what you're doing, Steve, the home dialysis, peritoneal and hemo. Steve, You're that nurse. So they still have some freedom to be able to do that. You just have to take your kidney around with you. Basically, it's a kidney on the outside of the body. But when I have patients that will work in normal lives, have normal lives, have small kids. We have a patient that's pregnant on dialysis, and they come in and they have to run 6 days a week. It takes away from your freedom, from being out there. And unfortunately, some people can't help it. But there are some people that just actually, at my son's scrimmage on Thursday, I saw this young guy vaping, right? I was like, you want your kidneys or you want your lungs? And he was like, thank you, my girl. We started from the bottom. Now we here, Tay. Tay's a nurse too. But And me and her started off going to medical assistant school together, and we both got kicked out at the same time. We've been riding for a long time. But yeah, he's like, well, I mean, you got to go somehow. And I said, really? He said, I drink a lot too. I said, well, pre-diabetes, yeah, we can talk about that. He said, well, I drink a lot too. I said, well, you really do want a chair at my clinic? And he said, well, I'll ask for you when I get there. A young African-American male, he probably looked like he in his 30s. He did not care, because of the way that these stimulants make them feel, the way the alcohol make you feel. We're all guilty of doing something in the past. But it's like when you know better, you do better. But some people don't want to know. And then when they get too late, it's like, oh, well, can you please put me on the transplant list? Or why do I have to go on this machine? Or I can't afford. Hey, Shaq, thank you so much for joining. Why do I have to go on this dialysis machine? I can't afford my medications. I can't take these binders, I can't stop drinking. I can't control my fluids. Well, when someone tried to teach you, you didn't want to hear it. You thought it was a game. It's not a game. Right. Imagine your kidneys don't work and you're swollen. Because sometimes, guys that's on here, ladies, gentlemen, after a while, when your kidneys start working, you also lose the ability to urinate. So all of the urine that you get rid of every time you go to the restroom, imagine that just stays in your body. We have to pull that off at dialysis. So can you imagine being limited to 32 ounces of fluid every day? Can you imagine having to take binders, big old chewables or pills or powder every time you put a bite of food in your mouth? Can you imagine not being able to eat French fries and tomatoes and oranges and bananas and tomato, just the things that you normally eat because you got to worry about your potassium? Can you imagine coming in and getting 2 needles in your arm or in your thigh or in your stomach or the catheter in your chest and your neck 3 days a week? Can you imagine not being able to move that fluid and you're cramping and you're screaming and you're crying and somebody like myself got to come massage your feet or press your legs up against my leg or give you some mustard or some pickle juice or make you some chicken bouillon in the back? Can you imagine your blood pressure dropping and you throwing up on the machine, and you just don't know what's going on? Can you imagine being allergic to the dialyzer, to your artificial kidney? Can you imagine? That's hard. There's the dialyzer. That is your kidney. And those are the needles that we use. That's your kidney 3 days a week. And those are the needles that we use when you come to dialysis.
Yeah, here goes the catheter right here.
And that's the catheter directly into your heart.
Mm-hmm. So let me just say this. We got some questions. We're definitely going to get to your questions once after I finish my talk with Joni. So please stick around. She's going to answer your questions. Joni, what are some common misunderstandings with kidney disease? That
the dialyzer does everything once you get on it. Hormones are not regulated by the dialyzer, but they are by the kidney. So once your kidneys are done, you have a hard time with hormones too. Think about the thyroid, think about your parathyroid hormone. That if you still make urine, your kidneys are doing well. They're not. Water can be stealing, but the toxins are still in your blood, Other common myths are kidney stones are okay, because people were asking me about that today. Like, do kidney stones cause kidney damage? Absolutely. If that stone is not going through the urethra, that urine is backing up and it's causing pressure in the kidneys. You can have an acute kidney injury. That dehydration is not important. Dehydration is bad. You can have an acute kidney injury from dehydration, because what happens is you become so dry, you overexert yourself, your muscles are going to start to break down, that protein is going to spill, and it's going to cause an injury to your kidneys.
Right.
That's called rhabdomyolysis for those of you. Yeah.
Okay. So we had a comment that asked you, do you teach preventive measures? And that goes into my next question. And you can combine it. Why is early education so important?
Early education is important because if you know what causes the damage, then you have an option to change your mindset to stay away from it. So if somebody is telling you that, you're overweight, I'm guilty. You need to go walking. Stop eating at Zaxby's and Guthrie's every day. I'm guilty. Just went there today. Stop the sodas.
What's the name? What's
Yeah.
the name of the
Gut
restaurant?
Guthrie's. They
Oh,
got
I
good
never
chicken
heard of
tenders,
that.
man. They got good chicken tenders. I'm telling you right now. But they salty. It's not good for you. You
Right.
understand? But it's protein. So people are saying, well, I'm getting the protein, but then they're not thinking about the process side of it.
Right, the sodium.
Yeah. Even the protein shakes. Like we talked about that. I don't know if I was on you or I was on Dan or the nurse on there, but the protein shakes. A lot of protein shakes, they are highly processed too. Me and the endocrinologist upstairs, we were talking about it. And he's like, I was like, well, that's what we give our dialysis patients because they have a hard time, keeping their albumin up. So we need that protein to be up so we can help with that fluid shift. And he goes, those are highly processed. He said, but if that's the only way to get it in them, you're going to have to. But for people that can get to natural protein foods, healthy proteins, you should intake it better that way than a shake. But if you are going to have protein shakes, you think about like plant-based or, the pea proteins or something like that. Those kind of things. A Premier is not bad every once in a while, but I see these people that are doing like these Premier protein fasts and they're doing like 3 or 4 shakes a day for like 10 days. That's a lot of processed proteins on your kidneys.
Yeah, not only that, but the glucose and everything else that
Yeah.
calories that come behind that.
Yeah.
Joni, how do you help patients feel more empowered in their kidney care?
I get them a hug. I give them a hug and I ask them to bring their medications in. If they say, oh, I forgot, I'll say, call me when you get home. Call the clinic when you get home. I'll give them a nurse to speak to. I want them to feel like they understand what they're taking, that they have the support in anything, that they're doing regarding their kidney care. I even encourage if they can self-cannulate. Let's teach you how to stick yourself, or listen to your access at home, make them a part of their journey. Or like I say, weigh yourself before you come. When you come in, weigh yourself. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why you gained so much today. Now, every now and again, I got a few patients I got threatened a little bit. I'll be like, you know what? You're getting out of control with this fluid gain. I'm going to give you 15 more minutes. And they say, no, Miss Joni, no, Miss Joni. I'm like, okay, then that's your homework. When I come back next week, I want to see that your gain was less. Guess what, Steve? I might show up at the next treatment.
Right.
I might show up at the next, and they feel so proud. They feel so proud that they did it, and I give them a high five, or just like, I don't know, like how I am right now. That's how I am with the majority of my patients. Some of them, they don't want all that. Right. And some of them don't smile a lot. This one guy, I'm like, you never smile. And he was like, well, I mean, I think I might be getting this from my daddy. I look serious all the time. I said, but can you smile one time? I said, are you happy about anything? Like you losing weight. We got your Monjero switched over. We got all of this stuff going, and you're going to be on the transplant list soon. And he started laughing. Now when I go in, he chuckle every time I go in. You know what? That make him look forward to coming so we can talk. And, have a good time. They look forward to that. There are people, Steve, that tell me they don't want to transplant because they won't get to come to the dialysis clinic anymore.
Wow.
That's their life. That's all they got. Yeah. This is their social life. You know it.
Yeah. So I know we said we was going to wait for the question, but I'm going to slide this one question in this person asked. They said, is a vegan diet good for your kidneys?
I mean, tofu is one of the recommended proteins, when you have some kidney disease. I don't know a lot of like vegan foods because I like food. I could be a pescatarian, and I have been, and that works well for me. But vegan foods, I know who's asking. That's Arisha. Hey, Auntie Arisha. She does well when she did a vegan diet. She lost a lot of weight. It can help with your blood pressure. A lot of people feel. And so if the blood pressure is well managed and maintained, that takes pressure off the heart and the kidneys. I
Absolutely.
think that a lot of vegan foods are not highly processed, but just be careful where you get some of these things from. Steve, you know, you and I were talking about those herbs
Yes.
earlier this week,
Right.
like those teas and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of them are okay, but like you mentioned and like we were talking, you got to be careful where they come in from, where you get your foods and those plant-based things from, because of the fertilizers and the things that they're treated with. They can be harmful to the kidneys.
Heavy metals.
There you go. A lot of you got to understand. It's deeper than just, oh well, is this good for you or not? You have to understand what the kidney metabolizes and what the liver metabolizes, and anything that's super hard on the kidneys, you kind of want to back up from, especially if you have predispositions like diabetes or pre-diabetes or high blood pressure. You got to be very mindful of those things.
Absolutely. Now, how do you support your patients who feel overwhelmed?
I get them a hug too, Steve. I have patients that cry, and I say, wait a minute, one day at a time. It's okay. One day at a time. They say it's so hard. I'll get a chair and I'll pull up a chair. I say, talk to me. What's wrong? Sometimes it ain't got nothing to do with dialysis, Steve. Sometimes it don't, and sometimes it do. They're like, I gotta come here. I can't go to work anymore. You know, hey Craig. Oh, Dr. Craig, Dr. John. They say I can't go to work anymore. My life has changed. You know what, Steve? Actually, this week I had a patient. He was coming every week on first shift, every treatment on first shift. And on Monday, I waited around. I'm like, where is this guy? So he walks in. I'm like, my guy, where have you been? He says, you know, I got my own business, and it be kind of hard to get here in the mornings to see when I get here in the mornings and I run late, then the business open late, and then you miss pay, like clients and stuff. I said, so third shift gonna be better for you? He said, yeah. I said, now you gonna come on time, right? And he said, yeah. I said, all right, not 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, because you're gonna miss your visit. I need you here 3:15, 3. He's like, no, I'm gonna come. Making those changes so they can still have a normal life. Being flexible. Being flexible to those that still want to have that freedom.
Yeah, I was for Dr. Craig. You know, he asked about a shot of Henny. And actually, there is, I'm not going to say the company, but there is a company that has a dietary list of alcohol that, you know, patients can drink that don't have potassium. They give you a list. I was trying to look for it while you're talking about it, but there is. They don't share this list because they don't want patients to go out and think, oh, I can drink this and drink that. But when you start talking about, because, you know, people drink alcohol before they had kidney disease, and they may have had wine or this and that, and may want to continue. It may not be just sociable, but there are certain alcoholic drinks that one can drink that doesn't have too much potassium, doesn't have too much phosphorus, and doesn't have too much calories. However, you need to, if you decide to do that, I have to say you have to talk to your nephrologist or nurse practitioner, especially if you're dealing with diabetes, because of the carbohydrates.
Turns into sugars, yeah.
Blood sugar. So, but there is, because a lot of people I see in a lot of these groups that you talk about on Facebook say, no, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. However, there's a tool, is a nutritional tool out. They don't share it with patients. It's only if you ask, then they tell you. If you don't ask, they don't tell, like the military. Yeah. But yeah, just because he made that comment, I just wanted to share.
He being funny with us, Steve. That's my cousin too. On my husband's side.
But you never know. He may want to go and just have one. Just one. That's it.
Just a little teeny cup.
Right. Joni, what role does dialysis education play in the patient's journey?
I think that if they understood dialysis more, then they would have a little bit more peace about it. You have a lot of patients that come in and they don't even know that they got to come 3 days a week. They don't even know they're getting 2 needles in their arms. They don't even know what the dialyzer is doing for them, what the machine is doing. So dialysis education is very important because it can take away some of the jitters, the nerves. And the other thing is, once people kidneys are failing, you have that brain fog. So you have like hey, Betty, that's one of my fellow nurses too. Hey, Betty.
Hey, Betty, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm a nurse too. Nah, thanks for doing it, Betty.
She's been doing dialysis a long time, Steve.
Longer than me, 40 years?
I don't know, Betty. How long you been doing dialysis, Betty? Long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my brother-in-law is on here. Hey, Ty Salome, appreciate you.
She probably was back when they was doing reuse.
I don't know. She might respond in a second. But yeah, we work together a lot. She's a really good nurse.
Awesome.
But
Awesome.
however the case may be, they don't understand what dialysis is, and they don't. 17 years. Okay. Yeah, she's doing it. She's amazing. But they don't understand what dialysis is. They don't know what the dialyzer do. You get in there. Can you imagine walking in the clinic with 19 other people or 49 other people if you're in a 50-chair clinic and everybody on the machine, people doing well or people passing out or people throwing up, they sick, or you running a cold and somebody die in the chair. You understand? Like, that's a lot of nerves. Yeah,
Right.
that's a lot of nerves. And so being able to educate people about these things before they come, it doesn't take away all the fear, but it kind of gives them what to expect. But then, like, you think about when they have kidney failure, you have all of these toxins build up. You're not going to remember everything that you're being educated on. So continuous education is the best education. Continuous education is the best education.
You said something, and I got to put a plug in right now. I said the same thing when I wrote my first book, How to Survive Outpatient Hemodialysis, a guide for patients with kidney failure. Because what I wanted to do was put a book out there that if someone, before they started dialysis, and you can get this on Stevethekidneynurse.com, but if someone started dialysis and they read this before they started, they know what to expect. Soon as they go through that door, they know what to expect from a nurse perspective. And like you said, I know that it's not going to take away all the anxiety, but my hope is to lower that anxiety before you walk in that door. Because if you never experience someone on dialysis or been through that door, before you start, it's the unknown and you don't know what to expect. And this is why I wrote this during COVID, and and it's helped many people. So if anyone's interested, you go to my website. But Joni, with that being said, what should patients know before starting dialysis?
That this is your lifeline, that you should take it serious, that you should listen to the education, that the dialyzer does not replace 100% of kidney function. It only actually replaces a small percentage each time you come in. That's why you come 3 days a week. You should understand that your diet is going to be restricted, especially if, Steve, we have some patients on dialysis that have normal potassium. There are some people that don't struggle with the potassium. We have some people that have normal phosphorus because those hormones are still doing its thing, even though the kidneys are, at its wit's end. But you should know that you have support. You should know that all staff is not going to be the best staff. So just like you have issues at home, other people have issues at home. And sometimes, unfortunately, people bring those issues to work. So sometimes their bad day becomes the patient's bad day. So you got to know how to overlook those people too. But patients have an expectation for professionalism. So no matter what's going on at home, that's not their problem, right?
Yep.
But on the professional side, I remember like maybe 3 years ago, there was this guy I was taking care of since 2016. I'm talking about if they went to the hospital, I called him, I talked to his wife, I took care of him, I babied him in the clinic a lot. And there was this one time, Steve, his machine was going off. Everybody know he don't like his machine to go off. But unfortunately, on this day, I was the only person on the floor with 20 patients. You know that's not right, right? But people were off the floor in the bathroom, on the phone, on break, whatever the case may be. And I am taking care of somebody with low blood pressure and going out, so I need to fluid resuscitate them. Correct? His machine is alarming and it's not even stopped. It is the bicarb. Okay? The machine has not stopped. He is pissed off. So I finally get to him and I say, hey, it's because your jug was just changed. It needs time to regulate. Yeah, well, mom, I said, listen, I said, can you give a little bit of grace? I said, do you understand that we wake up at 3 o'clock every morning to come in here and take care of all of y'all? I've been taking care of you since 2016 and you never had to wait on me. Never a problem. Can you look around and see I'm the only person on the floor? Even if it wasn't me, just anybody. A little bit of patience.
Right.
Some of them have no patience. No, and they want you at their beck and call. But there are other things that are going on, and that's where you get like prioritization, right? What takes priority over a bicarb? A patient that's going out. You'll be fine. And I reassured him from across the room. I said, and then you know what? After that, he never really wanted to talk to me again. All the good that I did to him for all these years. Because your machine was going off because the bicarb was trying to regulate. And because it was making noise and you was trying to listen to your show, you didn't even have enough compassion to your fellow dialysis member over here that was having a crisis. That's not fair.
Right. No, I get it. I definitely get it. Wow.
So we have issues too. Show us appreciation. Show us that we care too. How long do you want people to be professional with you beating on them and talking about them and yelling at them? I mean, just a simple thank you. You think he took accountability for that?
Right.
He went and talked to the other nurses. Oh, she said that I don't appreciate y'all. She said, that's not what I said. What I said was, can you show a little appreciation? You see us working hard. Nobody's neglecting you. But that's what happened when you spoil some of them. You know
yeah. I often share this story of when I used to travel. I was in Houston, Texas at a 30-chair unit, and I was charge nurse, and I made a schedule change where we had two sides. We had a fast lane and a slow lane. Well, I created a fast lane, a slow lane because they had 3 shifts. So one side you had patients who ran 3 hours and 45 minutes to 4 hours or more on one side, and patients who ran like 3.5 hours or less on another side to help move.
And you could get them in and out.
Yeah. And so, hey, Sarah. And so I sent out a notice, typed up notice, gave it to every patient. Everyone was agreed upon it. And so when Monday came in, when we decided to do that, a lot of chairs had to be shifted around. People who were sitting in one place for years now sitting somewhere else. But they agreed to it, the following week before it happened. And so I was doing my rounds and everything. And this one patient came and he was livid. And he came up. He wasn't in my space, but he was off at an arm's distance. He was fussing. The whole unit was hearing him. He was cussing. And I just kept doing my thing. And he finally settled down. But of course, inside I was boiling. I was pissed. And I was working with an agency, and so I was like, I don't have to take this. And I wasn't telling him that, but inside. But I was so upset that whole day. I went home. I mean, not home, but to my apartment. But do you know when I came back on Wednesday, the same gentleman came in, and he stood in the middle of the floor and said, "Excuse me, everyone." He got everybody's attention. He did a public apology. And that touched me right there because I prayed on this situation. And he did at least come and apologize to the unit for being loud, and he apologized for me for doing that. So yeah,
Maybe he had some toxins build up over the weekend. He needed to be dialyzed.
right. But
Sometimes they
look,
get erratic like that. Yeah.
That's true. How can education reduce fear?
By making you prepared, just like what we said, preparing them. At least they know what to expect. It calms some anxiety. A little fear is good. A little anxiety is good because it keeps you on the edge. You know, it keeps you like aware. But just once you know, you have an idea of what may be going on. Actually, good education can also give you good insight on questions to ask.
I agree.
Some people don't know what to ask. So if I could teach you what to ask, even if I'm not your provider or you're not there, nurse, you can still ask the person that's taking care of you. Hey,
Yeah,
I've been cramping. I've been cramping so bad. When the last time you checked my dry weight? I had one lady on Facebook. She was like, she be cramped. She feels so bad after treatment. I said, well, when the last time you had your dry weight checked? She said 6 months ago. She said, but I always, watch what I eat and stuff. Baby, 6 months ago, something done changed.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people know that a dry weight is a variable number. It can go up, it can go down. If you're in the hospital and you get discharged, may be lower. If you eating 3 squares, 3 meals a day, your appetite's increased, then your dry weight is going to go up. So,
but that's a part of your assessment. Even as the nurse, that's a part of your assessment. There is no reason why patients should be cramping beyond, because of their dry weight. If they cramp one time, then you should know to fix something for the next time. So that's why, like every week, Steve, I am assessing and changing dry weights every week. Every week. I talk to the patients. I see, like, did you take blood pressure medicine this morning? Did you take it last night? Oh, I'm not on any. Well, are you eating better? Are you eating better? Were you eating better last week than you were before? Let's look at your albumin. Let's look at all of these things because they all play a role in that fluid shift. You might be able to pull 4 on a Wednesday, and guys, that's 4 kilograms of fluid. So that's like almost 10 pounds on a Wednesday, but on Monday, that fluid might have a slower shift and you might not be able to pull only 2 kilograms. But they say, oh no, he can pull 4 all the time. No, not today. But that's getting to know your patients individually.
Right. Joni, why was it important for you to create NephroReach and the Dialysis NP?
Because I wanted people to know. I wanted people to know before time. I wanted to give people time to make a change. I also wanted to be there for caregivers, people that support people on dialysis, because they're going through as well. It's hard for them too. I wanted people to, oh yeah, Sarah, you have to be within plus or minus 1 kilogram. I'm the Dialysis NP on TikTok, so if you have any questions about that or trying to figure that out, you can send me a message. I'm available to talk with you personally. Look at Steve, look at Tay. But listen, it's just I lost my train of thought.
Now,
the question. Say the question one more time.
Give me 1 second. What I asked you was, why was it important for you to create NephroReach and the Dialysis NP?
Yeah, I wanted to be able to provide continuous support to our community. I wanted to be available. I watch patients, support patients all the time, and that's a great thing. You and I were just talking about that earlier. But I watch a lot of patients mislead other patients too, because John Brown thinks because Joe Louis does it this way that it works for him too. And those are not real patients' names, guys. I'm just making up names, that it works for him too. And it doesn't. It doesn't.
I know those are make-up names because it was a movie I seen, and I know down south they be like, I'll be John Brown.
Yep.
So
yep.
No.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, what need were you hoping to fill?
I I was hoping to fill the need where people, every time they go home, they feel bad. They feel sick. They feel like I can't do dialysis. It's too much on me. I mean, this can't be life, you know? I want people to know that there are people that thrive, that still go to work when they get off dialysis, still are part of their children's lives. They get to go to their schools, they get to go on trips. They don't have to miss anything. I wanted them to know that this treatment it could be altering, but it's also life-saving. You can still live. You got a chance. It's a second chance. That is not as bad as the stigma that's out on it. A lot of people make it like it's all about the money. And for those companies, maybe they are. But you have providers like such as myself. Let me tell you something. I am watching those labs. If I could get you off dialysis, baby, you coming off. If I could decrease your time, I got to continue to educate you. I could decrease your time. If we can get it to where you don't have to come 3 days a week because you're just that good and you have that residual kidney function where you still have some, I'm going to do that for you too. I want you to have the most normal life that you can have because you deserve it. Yeah.
Let me ask you, how do these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube,
TikTok and all of that, yeah.
How do these platforms help patients and caregivers?
I think it helps them by showing them that there really are people that care. I think because the truth is, Steve, like sometimes patients and caregivers like talk to the doctors and they don't get enough information or they don't get enough time spent. And then you have like people like myself where I probably spend too much time with some patients because I spend time according to the need. Even if that means I got to go back another day and I do it. If my nurses are still on here, the nurses that I work with, they'll tell you I come to the clinic more than one time a week on that same like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This one clinic, because I have like 100 patients there on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I go there, they probably see me 3 days that whole week. Because if a patient missed, I'm coming back to see them. I'm calling, I'm calling. I want to know what's going on,
All right. So my last question, what message do you most want patients and caregivers to hear from your work?
That I care, that I am available. I may not be where you are, but I'm just a phone call or a message away, a question away. Whatever question you have, I'll do whatever I can to answer it. If I don't know it, I'm going to research it. I'll call my colleagues, my collaborators. One of them, she's about to be 80. The other one, he's about 76. Her husband is the endocrinologist upstairs. He's about to be 80. I go to them.
Wow.
We're going to talk about this,
Wow. That's awesome. You got a lot of experience.
We have a younger nephrologist there too, but he's very smart too. He's very smart too. But I just want them to know that there is someone that is knowledgeable and want to make the difference. That wants you to know that you're not just like everybody else. Your treatment doesn't have to be like everybody else's, and you don't have to feel bad after your treatment.
Mm-hmm.
That there is somebody.
What do you hope they take away from your story?
That you're not alone. I know they may say, well, you're not on the other side of this. You're not on the machine. You never been on treatment. No, but I try really hard to put my mind there. I used to sit in the patient's chair. I want to see what it feel like. I want to see like their view of the room. I try to put my mind on what their mind might be like when they sit in there. I try to look around the room and see how the people are moving to see what kind of feelings it gives them when they sit in there, how hard and uncomfortable it is because they complain about that,
Yeah.
So.
All right. So what encouragement would you give someone newly diagnosed or facing kidney disease?
The encouragement I would give is to show up each day for you. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to be sad. And then you're gonna have to get this education, and you're gonna have to get yourself together.
Mm,
Because in order for you to thrive, and in order for you to keep showing up for you, you're gonna do better because you know better.
mm.
Now, if you don't want the education and you go the other way, then that's fine too. You'll be back, even if it's not me, even if it's you, Steve, even if it's not you, even if it's the next educator. You'll be back. Because one day you're gonna look in the mirror and you're gonna say, if I don't change, this gonna take me out. You're gonna look at your kids or your family if you have some, and you're gonna go to a family function and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna miss out on this, you know? Or the Lord might wake you up and say, I said you shall live and not die.
Mm.
He gonna give you the strength you need. Somebody praying for you. You
Wow.
know, we can't leave him out of it because he knows all. He knows that you're here. But that don't mean he intended for your kidneys to fail. The man was standing on the island. He said, I've been waiting. And the Lord said, I sent these boats and you ain't getting none of them. I've been waiting on you. I sent the boat. So he's sending the educators. He's sending the providers. You just have to grab hold to it and let it make a difference for you.
Wow. Wow. I mean, wow. I was just sitting there thinking, if I was on dialysis, I would definitely want you to be my provider. I
I'm
mean,
coming, but you gonna stay off. Keep walking.
oh yeah, absolutely. No, but I mean, the people who you care for, they are very, very lucky. Just hearing your story and hearing how you care. Um, yeah, and how you like a tough love, but at the same time you balance it. I mean, that's takes a very special person to do that, especially coming from in what we do. Um, so let's go to some of these comments that we had. Let me start by PT saying hello, Steve, glad to join this evening. And then your husband came in with the claps. Then we had Crystal.
That's my cousin. Hey, Crystal.
Right, Rod,
It's my
hello.
uncle. Yeah.
Like I said, beginning, and I had a comment that I had to remove and block in the beginning because they asked you, "Did you date black men?" So I
Well, my
blocked
husband is nice and brown skin.
yeah, I blocked the comment and got him out the room and banned him. I thought that was inappropriate for
Yeah.
what we're talking about, especially for your husband. I think that was very disrespectful comment. So I handled the room, Ray. No.
Hey, Steve, my husband is a dialysis technician.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I was a tech for 10 years. So we still got something in common, even though I'm a nurse. But that's awesome. Hey, let me tell you something. And it's okay. But in my lifetime, I did marry a dialysis tech, but we're no longer together, unfortunately. But that was part of my story. That was part of my story. So, I mean, it happens. So, but best of wishes to both of y'all because you got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
But Sarah, wait a minute, let me go right here. Before I Sarah, this person 5490, she said dialysis can be such a mental burden to patients, compounded with some patients who already have personal issues. Sadly, it makes for some tough shifts as staff. Can you elaborate on that?
It really does. But you know, when you get to know them, you know, like when their days are bad, you know their attitude when they come in. You have some people that have a bad attitude just every day. But you learn how to put your small problems aside and cater to their big problems. Because, like I say, when you can put yourself in that seat and you think about how they have to sit there, you know, you want them to be grateful for you, but you came to take care of them, you know? So just encouraging them or maybe putting a piece of candy on the chair side, a safe piece, you know, or even like just sitting down and having a word with them, or they watching something on TV and you say, you like that show? And they say, you be like, man, I watched that too, such and such, such and such. Yeah, you get a conversation going and take that mind off of. Or sometimes, Steve, this the honest God truth. I take the Lord with me everywhere I go. I'm not ashamed, okay? Like he live in my heart. If I'm walking by a patient and the Lord give me a song, I'll pull my phone out. I'll say, I got something for you to listen to. And when I put it on, I leave my phone on their chest side and the song is playing. When I come back, they sob and they like, oh my God, how did you know I needed that? That's how I know that the Lord leads me when I'm at work, because he leads me to where I need to be, to the patient that I need to be at. All of these things, like I just listen to him. And somebody say, oh, you don't bring religion. I don't bring religion in there. I bring the Lord. He's here. Everywhere I go, I keep him right there. Because I'm nothing without him. I have no direction without him. I don't know that somebody gonna pass out on the machine, but there are times when he tell me, walk over here. I'm not joking. Walk over there. I get over there and the patient needle out, blood everywhere.
Wow. I get some of that intuition as well, but
yeah,
I'm sure by you talking about the Lord and how you express it, I'm sure your parents are very proud of you, especially your dad, by him being a pastor. I'm sure he's very proud of you growing up and hearing you, talk like that and caring for your patients. I'm sure that definitely makes him proud. We had a comment from Sarah, and this is when we was talking about dry weights. But she said, I wish my clinic would have told me this. I thought I had to meet my goal weight every day. Do you go to clinics where you don't see a lot of education through your rounding, where some of the staff may not be intuitively involved with their patients? They just go in and put them on and take them off. Do you see a lot of that?
I do, and I report it.
Okay.
I report it. You know why? Hey, Craig, you see that? Tiffany, thank you so much. Tiffany Brooks, she's a church member. We have an understanding. Thank you, Tiffany, for being here.
Thank you, Tiffany.
I report it. You know why? Because when I see that you got to move patients around in the clinic to avoid a particular tech, that's a problem. Why do the patients have to move to accommodate a person that should probably not be there? You know what else is a problem? When I was a nurse, Steve, there was a tech. She had a problem with me. She said, "Oh, you talk too much. I'm doing my assessment." Or, Steve, I would bleed my own lines, or I could strain my own machine. I respect people's time. So when we got this time, what it called, schedule wise, I would make sure I strip the machine, clean the machine after I take a patient off. I'd be done have it strained up before the tech come back over there. Call the next patient in already ready to go. And this lady could not stand it, even though I wasn't doing nothing wrong. So she started. Now I'm clear because I ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm being a team player, okay?
Right.
So she received the blood pressure one day, and Steve, the heart rate was 263. She received it and walked out. But see, I'm the type of nurse, when I was nursing the floor, I did rounds, not just on my side. I did on the other side too. You know why? We're responsible for the whole clinic. If something happened, I'm very proactive. I'd rather take care of something on the front end than to have to react. Even though I don't mind reacting, I'd rather be proactive so we can have a smooth day. So you know what? That's fine that you did that. I'm just gonna go where I chart behind you. I did a manual heart rate, adjust the cuff, recheck it, and I put last vital signs were not reported to the nurse. Patient shows no signs of tachycardia with a heart rate of 200 and greater. But you make yourself look crazy when you do stuff like that to people that are not doing anything to you. It make it hard for the patients.
Yeah,
so they don't even have time to educate the patient because they so caught up with the people they working with. But if we were all on one accord for the patients, you wouldn't have time for petty stuff.
I always say that if people came to work, once they cross that clinic floor, come from the back and get on that floor, that everything else is put to the
It's
side
obsolete.
and you focus on patient care. And you kind of don't get that in a lot of places. But there are clinics out there where people are on their job, doing what they're supposed to do. They
And
work.
I have a lot of people. I have more people. They don't work for me, so I just say I have more because we work together. Okay, they work for their clinics, and I work for the medical university, and I go to these clinics, but I'm their provider. So hey, Q. Um, Thank you, Esther. I go to these clinics and they report to me, but we establish a rapport. Because if the nurse know that they can call me at any time, most of the nurses are gonna tell you that they're gonna call me before they call the nephrologist. Because I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna make sure the patient get what they need. I don't care if I'm in my bed or whether I'm driving on the road or I'm off, it don't matter. Call me first because I see them more than the nephrology. That gives an opportunity for continuity of care. And you know what else it does? It let the nurse know that they can trust you.
Mm-hmm.
They can trust you to take care of the patients.
Do you teach preventive measures?
I do. And guess who I mostly teach it to? Family members or the staff that's working in the clinic. Because by the time I get to the dialysis patient, they already on there. Unfortunately, I don't get to see a lot of patients in the office Monday through Thursday, like that are not on dialysis because I manage all the dialysis patients. Those are mine. Some Fridays, if I'm in there and the doctor's running out of something going on, and I go, sometime I'll intentionally go in on some office visits because I like to see how that particular nephrologist is handling their patient. So I have 3 collaboratives, and all 3 of them treat differently, Steve. And all 3 of them are the ones that sent these patients to dialysis. Even though I'm taking care of them, they will all tell you in to their respective place. If it's her patient, or his patient, I'm only calling the doctor on whose patient it is to let them know what my plan is. Do they agree on it? And we can be on the same page to make sure the patient get what they need.
Awesome, man. I'm telling you, patients who are under your care, where you're at, they are very lucky. So we're definitely over time, but that's cool because this has been a great show. I want to thank everyone for spending this time with us on Dialysis and Life with Steve, the kidney nurse. And thank you, Joni, for sharing not only your knowledge, I mean, damn, not only your knowledge, but also your heart, your compassion, and your unwavering commitment to helping others feel seen and supported on their kidney journey. I'm really, no, seriously, I'm really glad I had this interview because it gave me an opportunity to know you, not just as another content creator on Facebook or TikTok that just spews out information and talk, but as a human being, a person with a soul, with morals and boundaries and information and education. So I thank you, seriously. Also, to everyone listening, if this conversation encouraged you, gave you hope, or helped you feel a little less alone, please share it with someone who may need it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Joni, how can people find you on social media if they want to contact you, get some information? Where can they look to find you?
TikTok, Facebook. I do have Instagram. I cater more to TikTok and Facebook. The Dialysis NP on TikTok, and I have the Dialysis NP on Facebook. But also on Facebook is the NephroReach Healthy Kidney Matters page. So I'm on there. You can send me a DM. I'm always available. Sometimes I do go live. I'll jump on Steve live or somebody else's live. I think it's Nurse Charles, and we just talk. Sometimes I go on the Steve. Sometimes at midnight I be on the dialysis patients live. They have dialysis after dark. I can't hear you.
With Crystal.
Yeah, I go on dialysis after dark
I see
sometimes.
her. And then Charles, I know him from Facebook. We known each other for years.
Yeah.
And then Next thing
If I ever say hi, guys, he'll say, "Oh, the Dallas is in PA." He'll just pull me up. He said, "You available?" And one night, my husband was looking like for real because we had just stopped watching the show. But I was so into it because it was such a great conversation. I was like, "Oh Lord!" So the next day, he was like, Wednesday." He was like, "I said, not tonight." He said, "Oh, she probably in the dark again." I said, "Yeah, it's nighttime over here, Charles."
Yeah. He got on TikTok and blew up. But you know, I known him from Facebook for years before TikTok came on. But yeah,
Yeah.
nice brother.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Kiana Brooks on here.
Yeah.
So when I started traveling, I went to Sumter. She was one of the charge nurses over there at the 50-chair clinic. I told you to have a 50-chair clinic.
Okay.
She was one of the charge nurses over there. And one thing Kiana know, if I could get them off dialysis, we're gonna get them off. But we're gonna make sure they taken care of. Me and her had to figure each other out a little bit, but it worked out. One day in the break room, it was a breakthrough in there. And I'm so thankful because Kiana, she's a great nurse. She works with transplant now. And so that's amazing. I'm happy for her. She's still continuing her education, but she's really one of the good ones too, Steve.
So y'all was in a break room. Y'all had a coming to Jesus moment.
It was a real coming to Jesus. I'm telling you, because what happened was there was a Saturday that I was working, and Kiana, correct me if I'm wrong. There was a Saturday I was working, and you have some nurses that work well and some they just there. And
Right.
we had a cold. I was in bay 1. Remember, it's 5 bays, so it's 4 bays in the front and 1 in the back. And I was in the first bay, but the second bay, that nurse had went to break. And there was a patient in the last chair in the back. He coded. And Steve, oh my God, I could not get this man back. I could not get him back. And there was one of the nurses walked up to me. She said, "You need anything?" I looked at her. I said, "If you got to ask me if I need anything, just go back. Matter of fact, what I want you to do is put everybody in bypass. Just go check on the other patients." Steve, I'm running this cold on this man. And I'm like, oh my God, his pulse is so thready. He had abdominal breathing. Now I got to do CPR till EMS get there. Steve, I felt like I was not going to get him back. And all I could start doing was calling on God. I'm telling you the truth. I was like, God, you got to intervene. Like, Lord, like this all I got left. Steve, this man never really regained consciousness, but when the ambulance came in, I told them to go ahead and call the chargers because it was like it was bad. When they got him to the hospital, the staff called back over to the clinic. They said, "Whatever you did that day, save his life." When Kiana came, we was in the break room. All we could do is hug each other and cry out to the Lord. It was a different kind of day in that clinic. And ever since then, it's been all good. But that was a different day. It was a different day. It was a different day.
That's crazy. Hey, Kiana, I worked at a 52-chair unit in North Carolina, Fayetteville Kidney Center. Yeah, that's crazy, that 50 chairs, but wow. And yeah. Kiana says, Lord, I'll never forget that day. It was the 4th of July.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Kiana remember the day.
It was a different kind of day, Steve. It was a different kind of day. I'm telling you, they were looking at me like I'm crazy. And I was saying, God, only you can bring this man back. Like I am giving everything I have. Only you can bring him back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you got somebody saying that they in Rayford. That means
that's my brother-in-law. Yeah.
Is that Rayford, South Carolina or North Carolina?
I don't know. Ty, is that? I don't think Rayford. It's South Carolina.
Because I
don't know where that is.
Yeah, Fayetteville. But anyway, Joni, again, I want to thank you. Yep, North Carolina. Yep. I want to thank you for coming on seriously and sharing your story and all your wisdom and knowledge. And, look forward to having you back again and chopping it up. So, again, thank you. And I want to thank everyone else for watching. And to everyone, until next time.
I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you too, Steve, too. everybody that was invited, that showed up tonight. You're right. I got a huge support system. We don't get to see each other very often. As you guys can see, it's busy out here, but it's all love. Family, non-family, my church members on here, staff, I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful for everybody. And again, I'm a phone call away, a message away. I'm available. I am available. Let's try to do better by our health, guys. There's nothing to be ashamed of either. Please don't be ashamed. If you have kidney failure or you've been told you need a transplant, different things, don't be ashamed, because you never know where your blessing is. You never know. Closed mouths don't get fed, right? You never know.
Right,
So don't be
right.
ashamed. Don't be ashamed. You're not alone. It's millions of people over the world with this disease. Millions.
You're right.
Steve, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for having me here. When I started NephroReach, when I started my media platforms, I had no idea where this was going. But my husband said that the Lord was going to make room for me. And I believe that. I believe that because I know that he gave this to me. I didn't have no idea about dialysis, kidneys, nephrology, none of this. But it's been an amazing journey so far. And I'm looking forward to, continuously carrying it out and just being who I am and staying like in his will as he continued to carry me through this journey that he has planned for me. So thank you for this opportunity. And I look forward to the next one.
Oh, absolutely. 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 Again, to everyone watching and listening, if this conversation encouraged you, gave you hope, or helped you feel a little less alone, please share it with someone who may need it. And you can watch this rebroadcast on Steve the Kidney Nurse YouTube channel and the Urban Health Outreach Media YouTube channel. Until next time, take care. Oh, let me see. We got a comment before we go. Absolutely. Absolutely, Gwen.
That's Sister Gwen from church. Thank you for coming in, Sister Gwen. Thank you, Kiana.
Okay. Kiana just said she definitely has a heart for the patients. But I just want to thank everyone for watching. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. This has been another episode of Dialysis Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse, and we'll see you soon. See you, Joni. Thanks again.
See you later, my guy.
All right.
Steve on the mic, yeah, the nurse got skill, break it down smooth, keep the whole squad chill, talking about kidneys, yeah, we keep them on track. If your numbers off balance, he gon' bring them right back. Got the wisdom on deck, no stress, just facts, hydration, motivation, every time he reacts. From the clinic hallway to your podcast feed, dropping gems so fresh, yeah, that's all you need. Steve the Kidney Nurse, yeah, you know the name, keep your body in check, yeah, we play no games.